Here's my PowerPoint for the Chapter 10 discussion board. I decided to do it on divorce and its effect, and my name is Noah Steenberg, and like I said, it's Chapter 10, Psychology of Human Relations. Divorce and its meaning. So divorce is a legal dissolution of a marriage. In easier terms, it's when a married couple chooses to part ways to any numerous types of reasons. And if you read in the chapter, a lot of those reasons were already discussed, and I just gave a few examples here. So some like inadequate communication between the couple, financial problems and difficulties, and gaps in role expectations. And the next slide is about different types of divorce. It is not uncommon for couples to experience different types of divorces. So some divorces can be long and dragged out battles between the two individuals and last numerous months or even years. And then other divorces might end up being quick and painless compared to others. And I mean, the determining factor in that is it really depends on the people that's involved and what they want to do and how they go about doing things. The breaking point. So different couples will have different thresholds for divorce, just as they do in their threshold for marriage. So what I'm basically saying here is it takes a different amount of things for couples to decide they want a divorce. So some couples will tolerate much more when it comes to problems in a relationship before wanting a divorce than others. On the flip side, some couples are less tolerant and may jump into the idea of a divorce a lot sooner. So like I said, it's just kind of the breaking point. I mean, what I'm talking about here is how much a couple will deal with before they decide they want a divorce. Divorce rates. According to our book, relatively accurate stats are available on divorce rates. However, it's still difficult to estimate the percentage of marriages that end up in a divorce. So, I mean, looking at the stats that we do have, it's very easy to say that the divorce rate dramatically increased between the 1950s and 1980s, and then since then it has stabilized, which actually kind of surprised me because I feel like over the past couple of years, I've always heard that it's still going up. So it was kind of interesting to learn that it's stabilized since the 1980s, according to our book. And then I just added in here, the risk of divorce is around 40 to 45% for today's couples, and that was also in our book. This is often the result of not just one event, but an accumulation of smaller events that may take years to unfold before the decision of having a divorce is made. That kind of goes back to the threshold a little bit. And this is kind of the main reason why divorce should be looked at more as a process rather than an event, because there's things that lead up to a divorce that make it happen. Studies show wives' judgments about the likelihood of their marriage ending in divorce tend to be more accurate than husbands' judgments. Again, I got some of these stats from the book. And so I think what that's saying is, like, at the start of a marriage or during a marriage, the wife's prediction or judgment about how the marriage is going to turn out tends to be more accurate. And then, like this says here, this may be true to the fact that wives initiate 2/3 of divorce actions. Another study show continued. People who are currently divorced are generally less happy than those who are currently married. It's also been shown that in comparison to divorced individuals, unhappily married people tend to show poor physical health and lower levels of happiness. So that's kind of interesting too. It's shown that if you're unhappily married, you tend to have a little less happier life and show poor physical health compared to people that are in a happy marriage or divorced. And then adjusting to divorce, it's common for divorce to be more difficult and disruptive to women than men. Women are more likely to assume more responsibility over children, if any, in the relationship, and then women also tend to come out of divorce with more financial struggles than men. And that's not always true. Like, it depends on the situation, but yeah. So one of the key tips to help dealing with a divorce is to stay social and maintain your relationships with friends and family. And I read that online, and read in our book kind of recommended that too, and it's just about staying positive and maintaining other relationships. Effects on children. Overall evidence tells us that divorce tends to have harmful effects on children, but also may have positive effects for some. If the parent's relationship was surrounded by conflict and stress, it's been shown that the same types of feelings can be passed on to children. If the conflict and stress disappears, this can be beneficial for the children involved. And my parents got divorced when I was real young, and I can kind of relate to this with the conflict and stress and stuff, and I think it was beneficial for myself, as this kind of says. It's, I think I took a lot a lot of that stress and conflict into my life when they were still married, and once they divorced, that kind of disappeared, and made my. Thank you, and again, my name's Noah, and if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to type them down below. Thank you.